We're in Medan, North Sumatra, Indonesia, and we're here to eat. We're going to be making a bunch of food videos. Let's get food hunting for this one.
Medan's food culture is diverse, vibrant, and mouth-watering. In this video, we're eating where the locals eat. Watch out for one of Indonesia's most popular breakfasts, unique satay, legendary pancakes, and tons more. You don't want to miss this video. Get ready for some amazing food.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
We hope you're hungry. Let's eat.
Our first stop is for a traditional Indonesian breakfast of soto, which is a Indonesian soup. And this place behind me is really popular. All the locals have said that we have to come here. It's called Sinar Pagi, so let's go and eat.
Wow. Chicken.
We've got our soto and it looks like such a hearty breakfast. So let me talk you through what it comes with. So this is the soto, so the traditional Indonesian soup, and it's really thick, and I've got the beef one, so you can see those chunks of beef in there. And then it comes with nasi, so rice, a bit of sambal or chili on the side, and then perkedel, which are a potato croquette. Alright, so let's get this soto onto my rice. So you can see it's a little bit sort of milky looking, and that's because it's got coconut milk in it. So I'm just going to spoon some of that onto my rice. Look at those chunks of beef. Alright, let's have a taste of this. Wow, that is so good. The beef is really tender, and then the soup itself has a beautiful spice flavour. It's not overly spicy or hot as in chili heat, but it's just got a beautiful flavour. So you can taste garlic and ginger and spices like cumin and things like that. This beef is really delicious. You can see that it's got some char marks on it, so it must be grilled beforehand, and then it's adding just a beautiful flavour, smoky flavour and texture to the soup. I'm going to dip this in the sambal here, so the chili paste or sauce, and then just get another bit of that rice. Right. That sambal is really spicy. It's a really sharp heat. Oh, but it adds a beautiful flavour to that mouthful. On the table there's packets of emping, which are a cracker or a chip made from a melinjo nut. And they add a bit of texture to any meal that you're eating here. So what I'm going to do is just crack this open. It's tricky. Hold on, alright, got into that little sucker. And then I'm just gonna like add some to my soto mixture here, my rice, and give it a bit of crunch and texture. Alright, so break up those melinjo crackers. Let's go again. And I might bathe this spoonful in the soup as well. They're really good. The emping's very soft, so it's not too crunchy, but they add a really sort of almost bitter flavour to the meal, and of course a lot of crunch. It's really tasty. Let's crack into this perkedel. So it's like a potato croquette. This one looks to be quite soft, so it's just that mashed potato inside. I'm going to get that, and then a huge spoonful of the soto again. So get some of the cracker and then the beef, and then I might just dunk it into that sambal again. Right. It's like a mashed potato, and it's really tasty. And this is awesome. This meal is so full of texture. So you've got the soft potato from the perkedel, the crunch from the emping, and then that soto itself is just so full of flavour. There's fried shallots in the soto as well as in the sambal, and that's coming through really strong the more you eat. This is a great start to the day.
That soto was really, really good. We had a bowl each and it was an awesome start to the day. We're heading off now for more food.
We've come to our next stop and it's a bit of a hidden local's favourite, and we're here to eat Bihun Bebek, which is a famous dish in Medan, and that's duck vermicelli noodles. Let's go.
Our Bihun Bebek has arrived and it looks great. So the Bihun is the rice vermicelli noodle, so the thin rice noodle that's hiding underneath, and the duck on top is the bebek. So the duck, and this looks like a piece of slowly cooked pork. I think these are a deep fried shrimp ball. We've got a big handful of coriander, some cut spring onions, and I'm not actually sure what that is. Probably fried garlic by the looks of it, and there's a lot of that. It feels a little bit crunchy, and then that comes with a duck soup as well. So you can have the soup separate, or I can put some of the soup in with the noodles just to really like loosen them up and make them a little bit wet. I want to try a little bit of this thin soup first. It's really rich looking in colour. Oh, yum. It's really good. It's a little bit silky actually. It's really smooth. It's got no grittiness at all in it, and a beautiful duck flavour and quite salty. I might spoon a little bit of that just over these noodles. I just want to free them up so they're not all stuck together. Let's go one more spoon there, and let's mix them all in. So get all those ingredients piled into each other. Oh yes. Okay, I'll grab some duck and some noodles. Wow, it's got a really fresh flavour. So there's some lettuce under here too. So quite a lot of lettuce all piled underneath. And that is the flavour I got. I thought it was a celery sort of flavour at first, but I think it was the lettuce and the spring onions combining. That is garlic all over there, and that is really strong in flavour. It's quite bitter, that garlic. It's a really beautiful, clean taste. So I'm going to add a bit of chili just to give it a kick. Wow, look at this chili. It's so fine. That's a beautiful sauce, a really nice texture. Let's grab a shrimp ball, get that dunked in that green chili sauce. Ooh, nice and shrimpy. That chili's great. Actually, this is too good not to just dump on. Let's dump the whole lot on there. It's really spicy from that chili. So we'll give it a good mix in again. Beautiful big piece of duck. And now some noodles that are coated in that chili. Oh yeah, that really picked things up and gave it a real burst of flavour. So adding that chili element, you've got all those clean flavours, the flavour from the greens, the lettuce and the spring onion and the coriander, and then add the chili, and it's a really nice, sort of a fresh chili burst. So it's got a nice zing to it, and that I think will go really well with little spoonfuls of soup in between. So okay, so combining those two things has made the soup much more flavoursome, because I've now got a tingle in my mouth and a freshness from the greens, and the duck is super lean, so I've got no fattiness in my mouth. But then when I eat the soup, it's got a little bit of oiliness, it's got a lot of that beautiful duck flavour from being cooked down with the duck, and they balance each other out really well.
That was a really cool local spot. So the restaurant was actually at the bottom of their house. So they live upstairs and their restaurant's at the bottom, and it's such a cool hidden locals favourite. So I'm so glad we got to visit. Now on to some more food. ready for our next snack, and we're gonna have Sate Padang. So satay are grilled meat skewers, and Padang is the style that it's served in. And Padang food is the food of the Minangkabau people who are from West Sumatra in Indonesia. These things are smelling so good, so let's go and get some. Satu, and Sate Padang jeroan satu. Minumnya? Terima kasih.
Jeroan satu. Jeroan satu.
Our Sate Padang has arrived and it looks so good, and it looks completely different to satay kacang or satay with the peanut sauce that we're used to eating in Southeast Asia. So you can see the satay served on this banana leaf, and you've got these really thin slices of beef covered, just slathered in this thick sort of orangey brown looking gravy, and then there's a ton of crispy fried shallots on the top, and underneath the satay is actually ketupat, and that's like compressed rice. And over here we have a plate of the satay jeroan, so spare parts, so lots of offal, beef offal, so there's liver, heart, I think that's intestine, some cow's tongue as well, and then it's just been slathered with that same Padang sauce, covered with the fried shallots, and then the ketupat underneath that. Alright, let's just get into this satay. So this is just the beef satay, and I've got tons of that sauce on top of it, and then some of the shallots. Whoa. Oh man, that is really good. It is completely different to the satay kacang or the peanut satay that I'm used to eating. It's amazing. The gravy is such a mixture of spices, so it's got things like coriander and cumin and galangal root and curry powder and all sorts in there. And what it really reminds me of is a roast beef gravy. Like that, the flavour is just like a spicy roast dinner gravy. It's incredible. And then the beef itself is very finely cut, and it's got a lot of texture, so it's not just really tender, it's quite chewy, but because it's cut very thin, it's really easy to eat. Let's just try this ketupat. So that's the rice dumpling I just ate. It's really soft and squishy. It's just the perfect vehicle for soaking up that gravy.
Let's dive in and have some of these spare parts. This intestine one has really got me excited because it looks like it's going to be super creamy. Oh, this cow's intestine. The outside's got a little bit of a chew, but a really nice clean taste. And the inside is ridiculously creamy. It just bursts with a creaminess. That is a really good texture, and it's covered in that sauce again. So they're all lined up on the grill outside, smoke pouring off them, getting a nice little bit of charredness. And because they're so thin, some of the cuts, particularly the beef one that Sheena had, really thin slices, so they get a good little bit of char on them. And then they just dunk them in the huge bucket of sauce, then spoon a lot more sauce on top, so they're swimming in sauce. You don't go short on the sauce. And then those shallots on top, which add a really nice crunch, but they also add a real sweetness, so they're pretty much caramelized because they've been so well fried, and they're big bits, so you can really taste the shallot.
On the table we have some little packets of deep fried beef skin, and then also some packets of cassava chips with a ton of chili on top. So what I'm going to do is just grab a couple of these packets, take it out to the guys out the front, and get them to dump some of that Padang sauce on top. How good
good does this look? It's like a dream concoction. I reckon it's like Padang style chips and gravy. So you've got the deep fried beef skin and then the cassava chips, and it's just been covered with that Padang gravy and then the fried shallots. So let's just get a huge spoonful of this in. That's comfort food right there. The deep fried beef skin is really puffy, and then it soaks up a little bit of that gravy, but then as you chew it, which is just this chewy consistency, it's really good. And then the cassava chips are really crunchy and have a bit of a chili spice.
Next up, we're going to grab a martabak, and this is a sweet treat from a little cart right on the street here.
Yang tebal ya? Tebal satu. Ya. Yang coklat kacang tipis satu.
Coklat 3 kotak, isinya 4 terus. Asal jangan kejuan tangannya aja.
I got the martabak here, but it is amazing watching them being cooked. So they're like a little pancake almost, or a crumpet. They're cooked right here on the charcoal. So this is boiling hot, and this guy is churning them out. So many, absolutely so much speed. And he pulls in the batter, and then another guy sprinkles on whatever toppings you've chosen, and they cook really quickly on top of these charcoals. The ones in my hand are boiling hot, the steam's pouring out, they smell really good. Let's get away from this heat and try these. So we've ordered 3 different sorts. We've got a cheese and chocolate one, so you can see little chocolate sprinkles basically. Down there is a plain chocolate one, and this one is kacang and chocolate. So kacang is peanuts, there's powdered peanut on that. The cheese is a processed slice of cheese, so I think there's a half or maybe a whole slice of processed cheese on there. And then, whoa, it's going down. Oh, let's get it back. The chocolate's really heavy, so the chocolate sprinkles, you can see how thick they are, and they're quite dark looking. That should be quite a bitter chocolate. Oh, and I saw a lot of margarine being applied to these. There's a huge tin of margarine. Whoa, that was sweet. Oh, it's so sticky. From the batter, so that plain sort of batter, which all bubbles up. So I'm not sure if it has a little bit of fermentation in it. It doesn't taste like it, but it's really bubbly. And then the chocolate, because it's chocolate sprinkle, is all molded together. So it's melted, but it hasn't gone runny. It's just turned into this chocolate gloop. And I've got a very, very small taste of that processed cheese, but the sweetness of the chocolate is the overriding bold flavor out of that. Let's try this peanut and chocolate one now. So the chocolate on this is a lot thinner. There's not nearly as many of those sprinkles, and then you can see the really finely diced up, almost powdered peanut. Oh, that is really, really good. The chocolate actually is pretty full on. There's a lot of chocolate in there, but the balance between the chocolate flavor and the peanut flavor is a bit different. Unlike the cheese one, you can actually taste the peanut. So there's both flavors are really going on. Super sweet again, and kind of oily from the margarine that gets smeared on there. And I love the texture of these. They're not crunchy at all. Completely soft, like a big giant crumpet. They're just the best texture and packed with ingredients like chocolate. It's insane how much there is. Look how much chocolate there is in this chocolate one as well. So this is just the plain chocolate one. And these chocolate sprinkles are quite interesting. So they're a leftover thing from when the Dutch ruled here in Indonesia. So quite a dark little sprinkle, but they're still very, very sweet. I think I'm going to give that one to Sheena to have, because I am packed full of sweet chocolate now, but these are really good and I love watching them being made.
Tehnya nggak mau senyum.
eating in Medan is awesome. There is so much amazing local food, and we've come to our next spot and we're having TST. So that stands for te, which is tea, susu, which is milk, and telur, which is egg. So tea, milk, egg, and it's a drink that's apparently really beloved in Medan. This place has been around since the 1960s, and this frothy concoction, it just looks crazy. So what I'm going to do is give it a mix up, because it was separated into 3 layers. I think the first layer was the beaten egg, which must have condensed milk in it because it was quite thick, and the next layer was tea, and then the guy topped it off with evaporated milk, and it's just so frothy and thick. Let's taste this thing. Whoa, that is beyond sweet. Like, that is intense. It is so sweet. It's very creamy and thick as well, and you can really taste that egg now that I've mixed it up, and you can get this, it's like this creamy, eggy, milky drink. That's insane.
Far out. I thought those martabak that I had in the last clip were sweet. Whoa, this is sweet. It is insanely sweet, but it is really tasty. It's got a nice little edge from the tea, which just manages to cut through the sweetness. And I just went up and I saw how they were beating the egg, and he's got this really cool rig with hand mixers all locked in place. The cups are all locked in place, and it's beating for a long time. The 4 cups that are up there now have probably been being beaten for about 10 minutes. And they're still going. It's an incredible amount of beating to really get it aerated and fluffy. I think it's going to take us a while to finish these ones up because they're so sweet. So we're going to stay in this restaurant, finish them up. I hope you've enjoyed the video today. We've been to some really local gems, some absolute local favourites here. We've enjoyed everything we had today. It's such good food.
Remember to hit that subscribe button. We are filming a lot more content here in Medan, and then we head to other parts of Indonesia, so stay tuned. Remember to give this video a huge thumbs up, pop a comment down below. We love to hear from you, and if you want to support more Chasing Your Plate content, check out our Patreon page. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Jumpa lagi!
Jumpa lagi!